Alright guys, welcome to the video. And in this one I'm going to show you spotting, particularly on Ghost Town, but the standard battle. This is not for assault mode. Assault mode is much more difficult, being that you spawn west and east, and honestly, there's not a lot of good places to scout on either side, even if you're defending. But for north and south spawns, for the standard battle, guys, there's a lot of good opportunity here. You could really go west, you can go east, but on the south side, which I tend to spawn more on, I always go to the east because it always feels like all the mediums go to the west, and even sometimes the lights and the TDs, and you only have a couple tanks supporting you on the right hand side, on the east side over here. But because there's this huge trail, this huge line of bushes, this is the perfect optimal setup for passive scouting, which is what I love to do because it's so easy. You just sit in a bush, but you also have to be very mindful of where, you know, your enemies might be, and to make sure you're completely covered and set up for it, right? You need the proper equipment. So to start off, guys, I'm going to get in this bush, and I like this bush because it's elevated slightly, and I feel like you're able to spot a little better in that sense. And I'm covered on all sides here. I want to make sure I cover my left side as well because of the TDs that pop up over here. So you can see we spot this 430U, and I'm honestly not even expecting my teammates to get that many shots, but I was lucky. They actually got me 1,000 spotting damage there, so that's a good start. But as you can see, I kind of, you know, maneuver myself in this bush just in case I'm spotted now with this 430U moving up, that I could get out. So I slide down there, and what I'm going to do is I just want to spot this guy one more time. I want to know where he is, because what happens is people will creep up in these bushes right here sometimes, and you know, you won't know where they are until they're on top of you. So in this sense, you got to be really careful, and I really want to know where this 430 is, so I'm able to spot him one last time there. And at least now I know, you know, this guy is probably just going to hug this zero line because he's too afraid to go out into the middle. So now that I got all this good spotting damage on him, I'm going to try and clean him up. So I actually back my way over here, which was probably not a good idea on my part, but I like to back in, that way I can get going if I have to. So here you could see he kind of like YOLOs me here, and I was not expecting this. So I take a shot and my engine goes, and because the 430U has a long reload, I'm able to get away from him. But you know, it was probably not a smart move on my part to back in there, being that I had no support, but I was going to try and clean him up. There was nowhere to pen that thing in the front, given that I have the stock gun on this tank. So I whip in and think if I can get around him, I can clean him up, and this STG comes out of nowhere too. Now I think I'm dead, right? And this is what I said about people just kind of popping up in the middle of nowhere. I'm able to somehow squirm away from this guy, and then I bounce a shot off. The Conqueror bounces off of me. My track eats a shot, and I get so lucky there, guys. But even still, I'm able to completely wreck that STG, or my teammates are, and I'm able to get the spotting damage from it. Miraculously, guys, I'm able to get out of here. I don't know how I was able to get out of here, but I figured I'd take a break for a little bit, given that they're probably not going to press the zero line. And I can see that most of their team is actually in the city now. That Batchat can probably go wherever he wants, the T-54 as well. But I could see that, you know, chances are, now that the STG has gotten destroyed, that I will now be able to sit for a little bit, because I'm at 116 HP. That's a one shot for pretty much every single tank in the game, even for like tier 6. So I know that if I get hit, I'm screwed. So I'm going to sit here and just kind of look for some shots. And what I'm doing is I'm realizing that the TVP is back pretty far, and that this side is not really pushing either. So that's why I came up here to see if I can find maybe just a couple of quick shots. But as I see that nothing's really going on over here, I want to go and give it a second shot over on the east side, because I can see we have good support over here, including an Artie that has good positioning. So what I'm going to do is just follow this bush line. And I know what I do, guys, is I even made a little bit of a mistake here, but what I try to do is go through the middle of the bushes. The problem is this 430 is still over here. So what I'm trying to do is keep these bushes, keep myself fully covered with these bushes. The other problem with that is that over here there was like a 705, and there he is right there. I'm lucky to get in this bush before he pokes out again, because he's busy fighting the heavies in the city there, or whatever. So I like to keep the bushes on both sides. So now you can see I'm fully protected here. Not protected, I mean, from a shot, but just from being spotted, right? And now I can see the scent and the T-54 move up. So now I know that this 430 has moved back, right? So I'm aware of that. So I kind of hold, because I know that they're probably going to spot him, and I see if I can get a shot on this guy. Still, I cannot with this gun and 144 penetration, right, guys? I don't want to load gold for this. I'm able to track him, and they go around and they clean him up. So now we're in a really good spot, guys, right? What I'm seeing here is I'm kind of counting up how many enemies are left and where they are, right? So we know where the 705, the T30, and the Type 4 are. So immediately we already know that most of their enemies are in the city. The Batchat and the T-54, we're not certain, but chances are that they were just spotted again before, that they're probably still lurking around in that area. So we're good to move up here. We know that their TDs are more than likely not going to rush. The only thing that I was concerned with was the LT-432, who still hasn't been spotted yet. I'm thinking maybe he was going to try and, you know, whip down here or be sitting in a bush somewhere. Right, guys? So like I said, with passive spotting, with passive scouting, there's always a risk, and there's always an upside and a downside to it. The upside is that, yes, you're very well hidden. The problem is, if you get spotted, you're in deep trouble, because now you're a light tank with no armor sitting still. And again, that's why there's an upside and a downside to backing my way through these bushes, right? My objective is to be able to get away quickly if I get spotted. The problem is I could also take a shell in the rear of the tank and get lit on fire. That's why I run automatic fire extinguisher, guys. But in this case, regardless if I'm hit or not, I'm going to end up, being dead. So in my honest opinion, it's best to just back in through these bushes, because if I get hit, I'm dead anyway. So we're going to kind of lurk in here, and we spot this 705. And this is all we're doing, guys. This is a very, very simple game. Anyone could do this. I mean, it doesn't require any skill or anything. I'm just literally just backing in through the bush line and not YOLOing myself through it, right? I'm just slowly creeping my way up, letting my binocs and camo net reactivate as I sit still again for a while, get the spotting damage. We were able to spot the Batchat in that corner before. We just slowly work our way up, guys. We slowly work our way up. And here I'm out of bushes now. So I sit here until I know that I have the support. So I see the 113 moving up, I see the Centurion moving up, I see the STRV moving up, and then I'm going to make my move. Seeing that they have these two guys, the only other two guys here are now on the hill, and I know that, excuse me, I know that the T-34 has now moved up onto the hill here. So he won't have a shot at me. So right there, I try to just spot using that little bush. But in this scenario, guys, these guys are going to stay, hidden. They don't want to get hit. So we can easily now move up, just kind of poke on them right here on this hill. Now they're spotted, they're surrounded, and we're able to clean these guys up very, very quickly. But that's it, guys. This is a very simple way of spotting and getting all this, assist damage. And right there, we did 4,400 damage. We did like another 800 there at the end. And though I only did like 100 damage, I think it was just one shot on that convoy there or whatever. I mean, 4,400 spotting damage is incredible, guys. And this is a great example of how to just use your team, right? It sucks when you get a really crappy team, which is very common. If those that play World of Tanks will know how common it is to get really crappy teams sometimes. But regardless of, who's on your team or how bad they are, just work with your team, There's going to be at least some people that are going to shoot the red enemies. It's a very simple game in that sense. So watch where your support is and adjust yourself accordingly. Had they pressed there, you know, a lot of times on this map, I've been pressed there. That gives you an opportunity then to get the heck out of there, right? And if I didn't have as much support, I wouldn't have run up that line as much. But you could see as the game develops, I slowly move myself up, move myself up. And that's how this was done, guys. Very, very, very simple. And I was very lucky to get a game like this. But this is just a great example of how good the passive scouting can be. I barely shot my gun until the very end of the game. 4,400 spotting damage, guys. That's over 4,500 combined. And there you have it. So hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next one.